Peace. What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to He Got Credit. I'm your host, Brother Najee. Today's video is about the CPN, credit protection number, right? What is a credit protection number, right? A lot of people have a tendency of coming to my inbox or calling me or texting me, asking me, do I do CPNs? Do I do CPNs? And the answer to that is no, I do not do CPNs, right? I don't have anything against CPNs. However, I don't touch them personally. I don't deal with them, never have dealt with them. However, I am knowledgeable of what they're used for and why people get them. Okay, so today we're going to dive in about what the CPN is, the pros and the cons to the CPN, and also is a CPN for you? You know what I'm saying? So we're going to dive into that, okay? So the CPN, it's a credit protection number, similar to a Social Security number, and also similar to, an identity, right? It's like basically you getting a new identity, as a number at least, right? And primarily, the people who usually get CPNs are people who have a status. Let's say, one of your favorite celebrities, your favorite basketball players, your athletes, your government officials. These people usually have CPN numbers to protect their Social Security numbers, right? This is the reason why they get them, because they don't want their Social Security number out there because that's attached to them. And they want to create another number in order to protect their Social Security number from getting out to the public. So, for instance, like if somebody wanted to buy a house, and they're like, well, yeah, he could buy a house. He could just buy it under his business. You're right. He can buy it under his business. However, the utilities don't go under the business name. An actual person has to go under the utilities, right? So what people will do is they will buy things in their business names, or they'll buy things in a CPN, right? People who have status or whatever, right? Let me put my phone on mute, my bad. So yeah, they'll buy things under their EIN or a CPN in order to protect their Social Security number, right? And the pro of it is you could get a CPN and you could use it to your advantage and your benefit if you have bad credit, right? Let's say you have a bad credit score, you in the 3s, 4s, 5s, etc. And you like, man, I need a CPN because I'm trying to get an apartment. I'm trying to get this car. I need to get, anything that you could pretty much use with a Social Security number, you could pretty much get with a CPN. However, I've never met anybody that said, oh, I use a CPN and I got a house. Or I use the CPN and I got a Lamborghini, or I got a Bentley, or whatever the case might be. I never heard that before, right? But if you have, comment below if you've known somebody that actually got a mortgage and a CPN, or a very expensive car with a CPN, right? Okay, so the CPN is designed for those, on the other side of the token, is for people who have bad credit. And people that have bad credit, they don't have time to get it fixed, or they're not putting in the time to get it fixed or the money to get it fixed. So what they do is they use the loophole of going around and getting a CPN. And with the CPN, it's faster for them to get their credit score higher. It's a blank file. It's a blank file. So what they do is they go and add authorized user trade lines to that CPN, and then the scores shoot up, right? And so whenever they have a blank file, and the CPN has been traced, meaning that it's a skip tracer that they use. And the reason why they use a skip tracer is so that the CPN won't come back as somebody that's deceased, a child, or a prison inmate, or a homeless person, for that matter, right? There's usually those four that that are tied to a CPN, right? Because and this is illegal, by the way. This form is what you call identity theft, right? And so people use skip traces to avoid that, right? And you don't want to go to a dealership and use a CPN and it come back as somebody being deceased, or it's a child or something like that. Because what's going to happen is they're going to call the authorities and they're going to lock you up right there on the spot, and they're going to charge you with identity theft. right? And yeah, you don't want that. I've heard numerous horror stories about people getting fraudulent CPN numbers. And what happens is it goes back to somebody being deceased. It's a child. It's somebody that that's an inmate or something like that, that's not using the number. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be very careful when whoever you're picking to get your CPNs. Okay, you got to be very careful. I've never used one myself personally. I know of people who have used them, but I've never used one personally. And I only know of one person that does it, to help other people, which is brother Tori Ali. Shout out to Torre. And so, but like I said, I've never sent him a client or anything like that to get a CPN done. But I know people personally that he's done to help them get CPN numbers, right? So now the cons of it is that the CPN is not something that you can just go online and find and stuff like that. It's a loophole. You know what I'm saying? It's a loophole, and you got to be very careful because you could get scammed. You can get scammed. You can get duped, and you can even land in prison for getting a CPN because somebody gave you a bogus number, right? So you got to be very careful whenever you're using a CPN number. Not only just that, but in my personal opinion, it is best for you to work on your personal credit, get that right, get that fixed, clean that up, add, authorized user trade lines, which is legal, and you don't have to you can avoid the obstacles of having to get a CPN or trusting that other person that's telling you I sell CPNs. You know what I'm saying? You can fix your own stuff, get your credit right, and then go apply for that house, that apartment, that car, that whatever you're trying to get. Okay? Because you don't want to end up spending money and then not getting what you want, or you get what you want, but it ends up being fraudulent. It ends up being, somebody deceased, a child, or, some prison inmate or something like that. You don't want these things to occur, right? So your best bet is to just focus on your personal credit, get your credit right, get your scores right, just by using simple tactics. You can do credit repair. Once you get your credit repair, you can get the authorized user trade lines. You can get you a secure credit card. You can sign up for rentreporters.com. You can go to self.inc. You can do Credit Strong. There's numerous ways of how to build up your credit score over time without you having to go the loophole route of getting a CPN. Now, I'm not saying CPNs are illegal, and I'm not saying that they are legal, okay? Let's get that clear. I'm not saying that they are illegal, and I'm not saying that they are legal. It's a very thin line where it trends because people have a tendency of getting CPNs and not paying the debt that they got with that CPN, because they're like, oh, well, it's a CPN. I can get another one. I can burn it, get another one, burn it, get another one. You know what I'm saying? And this is why CPNs are frowned upon, because people get them with the wrong ill intentions. You understand? So not everybody has good intentions whenever it comes to getting a CPN number. Just because somebody gets a CPN and they apply for an apartment or they get a car, that doesn't mean they're going to make the payment on time. You know what I'm saying? They're probably like, oh, it's a CPN. I can burn it. I can get an apartment, be there for a few months, don't pay it, leave, get a car, get the car note, ride it for a few months, don't pay it, then, get rid of the car, whatever the case might be. Because in their mind, they're like, oh, it's a CPN. I can get another one, which you can. But like I said, you're doing something that is fraudulent and that can land you in jail. Okay. And you don't want to go to jail just because you didn't want to clean up your credit. You didn't want to get your credit right. And you didn't want to put the time or effort to get your credit scores up, right? So, with that being said, I can understand if you're doing it to protect your social security number because you have a status. You have a status. You have a large amounts of cash, and you have assets, and you have a bunch of stuff that you don't want people to have access to because it's really easy to access someone's social security number in this day and age, especially. So I can understand if you're a high profile government official, you're an A-list celebrity, or whatever the case might be. I can understand why you would use a CPN. And for example, people that are special forces, Delta forces, Navy SEALs, these guys use CPNs because they have their lives to protect. You know, they have their lives and families to protect, and they don't want nobody getting that type of information because it affects. It's a domino effect if that happens. You know, so I can understand why they get them and why they use them. So with that being said, if you don't fall if your credit is that bad to the point where you got to get a CPN, I get it. Okay, whatever. But just take the time and effort out to do your due diligence and your homework and your research about what a CPN is, how what the pros and the cons of it, how you can land in jail from it, or how it can benefit you. It all depends on who you're getting it from. And if you could trust that person, if you don't know that person and they're just talking about CPN this and CPN that, and they don't have proof or results to show or back it up, then you might want to hold off. You know what I'm saying? You could pay somebody to do your credit repair. There's tons of people that do credit repair. They have results and testimonials and all that good stuff. But people don't really bring up CPNs that much because it's frowned upon. You know, it's frowned upon, and you need to focus on your credit, your personal social security number. That's what you need to focus on. Other than that, I don't recommend it. But like I said, it can benefit you if you're dealing with the right person. You know what I'm saying? If I were you, I would work on my personal credit, go through the loopholes, the legal loopholes that you can do to advance and build your credit scores up to get that score that you need to get approved for what you want. All right. So that's what the CPN is, the credit protection number. Okay. For those that's trying to protect their social security numbers, or even if you're trying to, you need something fast and quick, but you need a CPN because you ain't got the right credit scores and you ain't got time to, get that bankruptcy removed or get that repossession removed or that eviction off, whatever the case might be. Okay, go with the CPN, right? But just be mindful. Just be mindful of who you're getting it from because, like I said, there's a lot of scammers out here, and you don't know who to trust and who you can rely on to make that happen for you. So just be careful, okay? Just be careful whenever you're dealing with the CPN because there's pros and cons to it, but the cons outweigh the pros. All right. So if you need authorized user trade lines, you can contact me 405-441-3276. You can call or text. Hit me up on my website, hegotcredit.net. Follow me on social media, Instagram, hegotjays23, Twitter, hegotcredit, Snapchat, hegotcredit, Facebook, Najee, Amaru Ali. I'll put it somewhere down there in the comments and descriptions for those who don't catch it. All right. But I ain't gonna hold y'all though. Y'all have a great day. I'm about to get outside in this weather and enjoy the rest of the day. Peace.